Years had passed since the fall of Nwangil, and the once glorious kingdom now languished under the oppressive rule of Oluchi. The grand palaces had decayed, and the streets once filled with the laughter of the people were now eerily silent. After King Chika's tragic demise and the kingdom's destruction, the royal bloodline had all but disappeared, leaving only whispers of the greatness Nwangil had once known. The throne remained unfilled, and the legacy of the royal family seemed lost forever. However, in the forgotten halls of the palace, in the chambers once occupied by King Chika and his beloved Queen Adora, a child still lived. Prince Ys, King Chika's son, had been just a boy when his father died. Shielded from the devastation of the kingdom's collapse, Ys grew up under the careful watch of loyal servants and trusted advisors who had sworn to protect him from the horrors that had befallen his family. The young prince was kept hidden away from the dark influence of Oluchi. His existence kept secret from the ruling queen. Raised in isolation, Ys never truly understood the full weight of his heritage, but he felt its pull deep inside him. He could feel the blood of his father, a king who once ruled over Nwangil with wisdom and strength coursing through his veins. Ys knew from an early age that he had been born to lead. He had seen his father's portrait on the walls, heard stories of his valor and justice, and learned about the treachery that had led to his downfall. But his memories of King Chika were distant, fragments of a past that he had never truly experienced. Now, as the years had passed, Ys had grown into a young man, tall and striking, with the same regal features as his father. The fire of ambition and vengeance burned bright in his chest. He knew one thing for certain: Oluchi, the woman who had deceived and destroyed his father, had to be stopped. His father's kingdom had to be restored, and justice for Nwangil had to be done. One evening, as the first rays of sunlight filtered through the palace windows, Ys found himself in the royal library, poring over the dusty scrolls of Nwangil's history. The silence of the room enveloped him, and the weight of the kingdom's past seemed to press down on his shoulders. He had spent countless hours here, learning of the rise and fall of the great kingdoms, but it was in these ancient texts that he found a revelation, a prophecy. The scroll was old, yellowed with age, and its ink had faded, but the words were unmistakable. From the ashes of a fallen kingdom, the true heir shall rise. The blood of the king shall reclaim what was lost, but only if the heart of the sea is destroyed. Beware the woman who reigns with the power of the ocean, for she is the one who shall prevent a kingdom's restoration. Ys's heart thudded in his chest. The description was unmistakable. The woman who reigns with the power of the ocean could only be Oluchi. The prophecy spoke of a rightful heir rising to restore the kingdom, but it also warned of the dark force that held Nwangil captive. Ys knew that Oluchi had to be stopped. But how? The prince's mind raced. He understood that Oluchi's power came from deep within the ocean, from the spirit man, the marine sorcerer who had manipulated his father. It was this dark magic that had brought his father to ruin. To break Oluchi's hold on Nwangil, Ys realized he would need to find the source of her power and destroy it. He could no longer sit idly by. The time had come for him to reclaim his birthright and restore Nwangil. The young prince set his resolve, knowing that this journey would be perilous. He would need knowledge, strength, and most importantly, courage to face the terrors that lay ahead. The next morning, Ys summoned his most trusted advisors and warriors. He knew that he could not take on this quest alone. After much deliberation, he decided to seek out the ancient spiritual leaders of Nwangil, those who had once served his father and mother in matters of magic, prophecy, and spiritual guidance. These mystics had been scattered after the kingdom's fall, but Ys believed that some still lived in hiding, deep in the mountains or secluded in the forest surrounding the kingdom. Ys rode out from the palace with a small group of his most loyal men, traveling through the land that had once been his father's. The journey was long and dangerous. The kingdom, once flourishing and peaceful, was now filled with ruin and wildness. Villages had been abandoned, and the roads were overgrown with trees and vines. The countryside had become a wilderness, teeming with unknown dangers. Weeks passed as Ys traveled, growing more determined with each step. Along the way, he came across stories of how Oluchi had used dark magic to seize control of the kingdom. Her reign was oppressive. She ruled through fear and manipulation, using her marine powers to control the spirits of the land and the people. The kingdom that once thrived now lived under a constant cloud of terror. Eventually, Ys and his group arrived at a small village hidden in a remote valley. It was here that he found his first clue, an elderly woman named Neka, who had once served as a royal shaman in the court of King Chika. Neka was the last of the ancient order, and though she had lived in hiding for many years, she agreed to meet with the young prince. "You are the son of King Chika," Neka said, her eyes reflecting a deep sadness as she looked at Ys. "I knew your father well, and I knew of the forces that destroyed him. The woman you seek to destroy, Oluchi, is not just a sorceress. She is bound to the sea itself, to the ancient powers that govern the waters." Ys listened intently, his heart pounding. "How can I stop her? How can I restore Nwangil?" Neka's gaze grew heavy. "To defeat Oluchi, you must understand the power she controls. Her magic is rooted in the depths of the ocean. She made a pact with the spirit man, a powerful sorcerer who governs the waters. He is the one who manipulated your father, who bound his heart to hers. This bond still exists, even in death." The old woman paused, as though weighing her words carefully. "To break this bond, you must find the heart of the sea, the very source of Oluchi's power. But this will not be easy. The path to the heart is fraught with danger. It lies in a place where the spirits of the ocean are strongest, where the marine sorcerer's influence holds sway." Ys's resolve hardened. "Where do I find this heart?" Neka's eyes grew distant, as if searching the past. "It lies deep beneath the waters in a cavern hidden from mortal eyes. Many have tried to find it and failed. But you are the blood of the king. You carry the strength of your father in your heart. You may be the only one who can succeed." With Neka's guidance, Ys and his men traveled to the coast, where the sea met the land in a violent clash of waves. The coast was jagged and the waters were treacherous, but Ys pressed forward, determined to find the heart of the sea. Neka had given him a talisman, a small, glowing stone that would guide him through the dark waters. The journey into the ocean's depths was unlike anything Ys had ever experienced. The water was cold and dark, and the deeper he swam, the more oppressive the atmosphere became. Strange creatures of the deep lurked in the shadows, but Ys pressed on, his focus unwavering. He could hear the whispers of the ocean spirits urging him forward, and he knew he was drawing closer. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, Ys found it, a glowing cavern deep beneath the waves. The walls shimmered with an otherworldly light, and in the center of the cavern lay a massive crystal, pulsing with green energy. It was the source of Oluchi's power, the marine sorcerer's binding magic. As Ys approached the crystal, he felt its dark energy coursing through him, threatening to overwhelm him. But he steeled himself, knowing that this was the moment he had been preparing for. With one swift motion, he reached out and grabbed the crystal, feeling the power surge through his body. The water around him churned violently as the ocean spirits screamed in fury. With all the strength he could muster, Ys shattered the crystal, releasing a burst of energy that sent shockwaves through the cavern. The ocean roared in defiance, but Ys stood firm, his resolve stronger than ever. As the crystal shattered, the oppressive weight of Oluchi's magic lifted from the land, and the bond between her and the spirit man was broken. Returning to Nwangil, Ys was no longer the boy who had once been hidden away in the palace. He had become a man, forged by the trials of the sea and the wisdom of his ancestors. He marched into the heart of the kingdom, where Oluchi sat on the throne, surrounded by her marine followers. Oluchi looked at him with disdain, a cruel smile curling her lips. "So the prince has returned," she said, her voice cold and mocking. "Did you think you could undo what I've done?" He stepped forward, his voice steady and strong. "I've come to reclaim what is mine. The throne of Nwangil is not yours, Oluchi. It never was." The battle between the prince and the marine sorceress was fierce, magic clashing against willpower. But with the destruction of the marine sorcerer's power and the strength of his father's spirit within him, Ys was able to overcome Olachi's dark magic. The sorceress was defeated, and the kingdom was free once more. As Ys ascended to the throne of Nwangil, he vowed to restore his father's kingdom, to honor the memory of King Chika and Queen Adora, and to lead his people with wisdom and justice. The darkness had been banished, and the kingdom of Nwangil was reborn. The legacy of the royal family had been reclaimed, and Ys's reign would mark the beginning of a new era of peace and prosperity.